going on, Tricology family, and welcome back to another episode of the Tricology News Talk. We got a massive mainstream news to talk about, and also we got a movie review for you guys today. So let's not waste time. Let's get into our first piece of news, and it is that we got our first reactions on the Barbie movie. So let's look at these couple of tweets and see what our critics have been saying about the Barbie movie. So our first one comes from Joseph Deckerman, and he said, "Barbie caught me off guard, and I mean that in the best way possible. It was funny, bombastic, and very smart. Greta Gerwig, sorry if I pronounced the name, but the director of Barbie aims for the fences and hit a home run. Margot Robbie's performance is great, and Ryan Gosling and Selma Lee were pure entertainment. The whole cast was brilliant." So we got our first positive here. Let's look at some other ones. And this was coming from Easel, and he said, "Barbie is triumphant. A picture-perfect script, backed by the great performances, especially from Ryan Gosling, turns out what could be a simple studio comedy into a sharp commentary of our society that makes it non-palatable for those who may not take it as a face value. Gigi is 3-3." So another positive note here. And let's go to another one. And this one's coming from Pierre Norfolk, and she says, "I have seen Barbie. The craftsmanship is incredible. In particular, the costume and the production design, including a next level work, is heavily contributes the creative and the feeling that those truly are Barbies, the dream house, and the worlds come to life." So another good positive there. Let's go do some more. This one comes from Jamie Jerkrak. Sorry I pronounced the name again. And she says, "I can't officially quit Twitter before telling you that Barbie is currently my favorite film of this year. Greta Gerwig somehow exceeded my expectations. She tackled the positives and the negatives of Barbie so beautifully. Give Ryan Gosling an Oscar nomination. I am dead serious." So we got so this one day, Barbie might get some Oscar contentions, maybe even a Golden Globe, but we'll see. Moving on. This one coming from Jack, and he says, "Barbie is a cinematic triumphant. Gerwig is at the top of her game here. She crafted a film that is not only gorgeous to look at, but apologetic, clever, and hilarious. Margot Robbie delivers an endearing and memorable performance, though it was Gosling who stole every show in every scene that he was in." So, they say everyone loves Margot Robbie, but it's Ryan Gosling who's the show stealer. So, and then we got one more here, and this one coming from Ty, and he says, "The way Barbie completely lives up to the hype, it is rich, tangible, and capable of camp, tantalizing visuals, and emotional sincerity, offering a grand comment on society that a women's everyday value life is a gender battlefield. Gosling as Ken is subtly and initially iconic. In Godwin, we trust." So a lot of positive here's coming from the Barbie movie. So again, I had to ask this question: which one y'all seeing first? Are y'all seeing Barbie first, or y'all seeing Oppenheimer first? So let me know, y'all. So moving on. Max, which was formerly known as HBO Max, has passed Disney Plus on the biggest streamers list. So let's look at the top 7 right now. At 7, we got Apple TV Plus. 6, we got Paramount Plus. 5, Hulu. And then 4, Disney Plus. And then 3 is where Max at right now. 2 is Netflix. And then number 1 is Amazon Prime. So I get the number 1 and the number 2 because they've been there longer than the other streaming platforms. So and now Max I was that's a huge surprise there because Disney. I thought everybody thought Disney Plus was going to take over, but like, no. HBO, they did their thing. So yeah, but if you really think about it, between Disney Plus and Hulu, they kind of do the same thing because they work with each other. So I wanted to say both of them will be in the number 4. Quite honestly, technically, yeah. So yeah, but let's see if Max can take Netflix out of the spot. It's gonna be real tough, but I don't. But we'll see there. Moving on. The new Arkansas trailer is spectacular. So let's read what the Hollywood Reporter has to say. A 2-minute clip that was released on Tuesday showcased Ryan Dawson as the titular Jedi, while also expanding the focus from an earlier teaser that includes both more battle scenes and a longer look at Dawson's co-stars, which includes Natasha Lee as Seba Wynn, Mary Elizabeth Winston as Hela Saltrin, and the late Ray Stevenson as Jedi turned mercenary Bonwit Scott, Ivan Hosser as San Swing, Daniel Lee, Diana Lee, Mosasona as Morgan Elizabeth, David Tennant as Hosser Otri, Lars Machine as Grand Marshal Thor, and, and Emma Susan as Esther Bird. So yeah, I cannot wait for the August series coming up in August. That last trailer looked absolutely amazing. Moving on, Alita, Battle Angels sequels are teased by James Cameron. So let's read this article here. Speaking with the forums on many reasons, James Cameron and wife Susie Cameron are selling their current home. Cameron noted working on different projects such as the Avatar films and notable Alita Battle Angel films. In multiple sequels on Avatar, I'm working in Wellington and Los Angeles, and on the new Alita Battlefield films. I'll be working in Austin, so it's just I don't make sense for us anymore. Knowing that it's a big commitment is one thing, but this is a tease that multiple sequels are in the works for fans that can ask for. So I am glad that we are getting a sequel to Alita Battle Angels because that was definitely the first one was definitely good. So I'm kind of interested on how they're gonna do the sequels here, but we'll see when time goes by, and hopefully we get some updates as well. So we already talked about the first reactions to Barbie. Now let's talk about some first reactions for Oppenheimer. So, and we have a lot of people saying it's stunning, incredible, fearsome, and exciting. But let's go in detail what some of these critics had to say about it. So, our first one comes from Matt Mayterham, and he says, "Oppenheimer, let me stun. A character study on the greatest scale with a symbol central performance by Clifford Murphy. An epic historical drama, but with a distant Nolan sensitivity. The intensity, structure, sense of scale, startling sound design, and macro visuals. Wow." That's our first positive there. And let's go to our next one. And this one coming from Jonathan Dean, and he says, "Totally above in Oppenheimer. A decent, talking, tense film. Partly about the bomb, mostly about how doomed we are. Happy summer. Murphy is good, but the supporting ethos of Damon, Downey Jr., and Oppenheimer even bring big gags. A narcissist, polemic, complex film to rattle its audience." So, a good positive there. And let's go to the next one. This one coming from Beach Ultimate, and he says, "Oppenheimer is incredible. The word that keeps coming to mind is fearsome. a relentless pace, intensely detailed, and armored historic drama that builds and builds and builds until Nolan brings the hammer down in the most startling and shattered way. So get ready for the unexpected, guys. So another good positive there. Moving on to the next one. This one comes from Lizzie Baum, and she says, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer is truly spectacular achievement in its truthful, consistent adaptation. It ventures the storytelling and unusual performances by Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, and many others involved. Some just for a scene. So another good positive there. And well, mostly Cillian Murphy and is getting a high praise than the other people. And then last one we got coming from Eric Davis, and he says Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer is fantastic, big and bold, with electrifying performances and an incredible visual pacing to it. It is both quietly imitating and also a future movie-going experience at the same time. See it in IMAX 70 million, and it's going to be amongst your favorite watches of 2023. Yep, you guys already know it. I'm definitely going to be seeing this bad boy in IMAX, so yeah, I cannot wait. So, I asked the question again. Which one y'all going to see first? Is it Barbie or Oppenheimer? So, if you're watching me on YouTube, leave the comments below there. But moving on. We got our first nominees for the Emmys. So I'm just gonna be reading the big ones here, but I will leave the link down below in the comments below so you guys can check out all the nominees list for this year's Emmys. So let's look at the best drama. We got Ecuador, Better Call Saul, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Successor, The Crown, The Last of Us, The White Lotus, and Yellow Jackets. Very interesting there. But let me know who you think is going to win Best Drama there. And let's go to Best Comedy. We got Abbott Elementary, Barry, Jury Duty, Only Murders in the Building, Ted Lasso, The Bear, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and Wednesday. So let me know who you think will win Best Comedy there. That's going to be very interesting. Moving on. Shang-Chi may appear in MCU's Thunderbolts report. Let's read this report here. The new Thunderbolts lineup includes Black Widow, Sharon Carter, aka Destroyer, White Widow, Red Guardian, U.S. Agent, and Shang-Chi, aligning together under the command of Bucky and the one and only Cassandra Valentina Alvarez. Readers can expect high-stakes missions in each issue as this crew set out to dish a long overhaul justice throughout the Marvel Universe. Remember we guys talked about Shang-Chi appearing in other MCU movies before we get to Shang-Chi 2? Well, we got our first confirmation there on where we can see Shang-Chi again. Then we already said that he's going to be there in the next Avengers film. So that now we just got reading this report that he's going to be there for the Thunderbolts. So that's going to be very interesting. And it's very interesting too about this new this team here. So it's definitely a new lineup there. And very interesting. But continue on with the story. Marvel is known to launch comic book series events and characters changes and advances to syringe with the MCU. Some of the biggest examples that include recadering Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver into no longer being mutant, the portrayal of the Guardians being more in line with James Gunn's take on the team, and the introduction to the new WAP never aligned with Hope and Vanderlee's introduction on screen. So that like I said, they definitely did some changes with the Thunderbolts team. So let's see what they can do there. And then reading another note here. This one comes from the Shang-Chi actor himself, and he says, "And who knows? They might see me in something sooner than you think." He teased when he asked about teaming up with the other MCU's heroes. We'll see. Very interesting there. And now we got to talk about the. First of all, we got some sad news to talk about here, and of course, that involves with the writer's strike. Well, correction, not just the writer's strike, the actors have joined in on the strike as well. Reading a tweet a couple of days ago, coming from Discussion Film, and he tweeted out and said, "The studios and streamers reportedly have no intentions of negotiating with the Writers Guild for several months. The end game is to allow things to drag until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses." A studio executive tell Deadline. Man, that is crazy, man. But let's continue on with some of the more of the stories here. So the actors had did the strike too, and so what that means, there won't be any promotions, no on screen or anything. Production is going to get put on hold and everything. So even that, yeah, we got some couple of productions that have been put on hold, including the Deadpool 3, Mortal Kombat 2, the live action Lilo and Stitch, Gladiator 2, Mission Impossible 8, Venom 3. Like, oh my god, man, this is crazy. Like, we haven't had this kind of strike and since the 60s. Man, this is crazy, man. I don't know how long this thing is gonna last, but like I told y'all before, if they would have just paid their writers, we wouldn't be in this situation. But hey, what can we do? As far as us fans and moviegoers, we just have to continue to try to promote the movies that are coming up for the rest of this year. That's all we can do. But moving on, a solo Star-Lord MCU movie is coming, says James Gunn. And let's see what Gunn had to say about this. "We always wanted to give somebody a little something special," he says. "Chris and I forever had talked about how great it would be to be able to do a legendary Star-Lord movie. A story with Star-Lord on Earth trying to adapt into the environment of Earth in the same way that somebody else might have tried to adapt into the alien environment of outer space. He's fishing out water, just a regular water." Man, that's gonna be very interesting. So if you guys seen the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, we do have a new team there. So when we saw the last day saying the legendary Star Lord will return, does that mean he will be back in the Guardians of the Galaxy team, or are we just gonna see another solo man? So basically, reading out this article here, that kind of tells us, oh, we might be getting a solo Star Lord film. So that's gonna be very interesting. And continue on. MCU's Disney Plus shows have diminished Marvel's quality, says Disney CEO. So let's read this article here. "There have been some disappointments. We would have liked some of our recent releases to perform better," Iger said at this week's annual Sun Valley Conference, a gathering of A-list executives from the media and tech, per Variety. I think in our zeal to base grow our content specifically to serve mostly ours, the streamer offers would end up taxing our people way beyond in terms of their time and their focus. Way beyond where I've been. So, man, you guys already know the lot of the Disney Plus shows they haven't been they either gonna be positive, they either gonna be mixed, or they're just gonna be, man. It's very predictable on how things could work. But hey, what can we do? And then continue on with the story. Marvel's great example of that is Iger's continuing in the main point, making his point that they have been in the TV business at any significant level. Not only did they increase their movie output, but they have ended making a number of television series, and frankly, it just has focused and attention at Marvel Studios. That is, I think, it's more cost in than anything. Yep, like I said, crazy. But that's all of the mainstream news that we have for y'all today. So let's get into our movie review, and that's gonna be on Mission Impossible as it's 7, but in theory, we call it they named it Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's right. There is gonna be a part 2, aka Mission Impossible 8, that will be coming next year. But well, that's if it's gonna be now. It's supposed to be coming. They say it's supposed to be coming out in June of next year, but let's see if they can keep that date. Because if the strike goes on, then they might have the delay, and that's gonna be very 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 crazy. But continue on with Dead Reckoning Part 1. So once again, it is directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who have directed a couple of Mission Impossible movies lately, and for this one, um, Ethan Hawke and his team members go against a rogue AI who is known as the entity, and also another villain who has ties with Ethan Hunt's past. So, man, let me tell y'all something. I grew up with the Mission Impossible movies. So I grew up with the first one, the second one, and the third one. So I think by the time we got to 4, it definitely has elevated the Mission Impossible movies in the modern day era. So yeah, they are elevated as much as that they possibly can with the stunts and the action, as like with Ghost Protocol. Everyone loved that, and then after that, Road Nation. Everyone loved that, and then Fallout, where most people are saying that it was one of the best action movies of all time. Everyone loved that, and then Dead Reckoning. What can I say? The action sequence in this movie. So a lot of people gonna have a lot of favorites. Whether it's gonna be the car scene, whether it's gonna be the train scene, whether it's gonna be the the motorcycle scene, or just any scene where you see the Tom Cruise running. So yeah, yeah. This was definitely a non-stop action movie, and the pacing in this movie was so good, you can't even tell that this was a close to the 3 hour movie, because it keeps you in motion on whatever it's going to happen next. Like, oh well, we see this this accuracy is acting, but now we just anticipating on what's gonna happen next. That's why I say the pacing in this movie was really good in there. And yeah, man, Tom Cruise. What can I say about this man? He is one of the absolute goats as far as like action heroes goes. Man, man, there's nothing really bad I can say about this. Like this was really good. Like I would definitely put this in my top 5 best movies of 2023. Now I already know I'm making a top 10, but Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is definitely going to be in the top 5. So but let's talk about one of the new characters in this movie. That the Peggy Carter actress in this movie. She plays like a jewel thief, kind of similar to Theo Newson's character in the second the Mission Impossible movie. And and the Mantis actor, she in this too. So the one of the other villains in this movie, and as far as the returning IMF team members, you have Vin Rames in there, you had Simon Pegg, and also Rebecca Ferguson in there. As far as the casting is concerned, but so I can't say nothing else bad about it. It's all good, positive here. Definitely one of the great Mission Impossible movies, and y'all definitely go see that, man. So it's a definitely 10 out of 10, and a definitely an A+. Yep, that's my grade there. Enough said. And but hey, that's our episode for y'all today. And of course, if you're watching me on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell when new episodes are uploaded. And of course, if you're listening to me on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast streaming platform, don't forget to follow me there as well. And with that in mind, this is Trico, and I'm signing off, y'all. Peace.